Welcome to our college briefing show. Today, we're bringing you a tense and heartbreaking story from Brown University, where a shooter dressed in black opened fire during final exams, leaving 2 students dead and 9 injured. The campus was immediately locked down, with students sheltering in place as police searched for the suspect, who was last seen calmly leaving the scene. It's a stark reminder of how quickly campus life can turn upside down. In response to this tragedy, authorities established a reunification center to support students and families, while the community mourns and hopes for justice. The campus remains in shelter-in-place mode as investigators work tirelessly, and the suspect remains at large. Leaders and students alike are shaken but resilient, rallying together in the face of this crisis. Please continue to stay tuned for more updates. And that wraps up our quick overview. Thanks for joining us on College Briefing, stay safe, and please continue to watch for more detailed coverage. The Toronto Star vividly recounts the harrowing scene at Brown University, where a gunman opened fire during final exams, shattering the campus tranquility. The suspect, dressed in black and last seen fleeing the engineering building, remains at large as hundreds of police officers scour the Ivy League grounds, turning once bustling streets into eerily silent zones of tension. Witnesses describe the suspect possibly wearing a camouflage mask, heightening fears of an unpredictable threat amidst the academic sanctuary. The chaos forced students into hiding, some under desks, others seeking shelter in nearby buildings, their terror palpable as they waited anxiously for the all-clear. The article details the tragic toll of the shooting, with 2 lives lost and 9 wounded, some critically, at Rhode Island Hospital. The victims, mostly students, were caught in the chaos of final exams in the engineering complex, a 7-story hub packed with labs and classrooms. Emma Ferraro, a chemical engineering student, narrowly escaped the gunfire, running to safety after hearing the shots. The incident unfolded during what should have been a routine exam day, turning a moment of academic focus into a scene of horror and despair. The university and city officials responded swiftly, urging residents to stay indoors and deploying all available resources to apprehend the suspect. The Toronto Star also highlights the tense hours that followed, with police scouring the campus and surrounding neighborhoods, searching for the armed suspect. Despite initial reports suggesting a suspect had been detained, authorities later clarified that no one was in custody, intensifying the search. Students and staff were evacuated or sheltered in place, some moved to a nearby fitness center, as officers in tactical gear methodically combed the area. The university's security measures, including locked doors and badge access, did little to prevent the tragedy, raising questions about campus safety during such critical moments. The narrative from Yahoo US emphasizes the emotional aftermath, establishing a reunification center at the Nelson Fitness Center to support students and families. Rhode Island's governor, Dan McKee, condemned the violence as unthinkable, reaffirming his commitment to deploying all resources to find the shooter. The community's collective heartbreak was palpable, with students like Alex Bruce trembling in fear as armed officers surrounded his dorm, and others hiding in stores, overwhelmed by shock and terror. The incident left an indelible mark on the university's proud history, prompting urgent calls for increased security and reflection on gun violence. Finally, the Associated Press provides a comprehensive overview, describing the scene of devastation at Brown University and the frantic efforts of law enforcement. The suspect, described as a male in dark clothing, was last seen fleeing the engineering building, triggering a campus-wide lockdown. Despite Rhode Island's strict gun laws, the shooter's use of a handgun underscores the ongoing challenge of gun violence in America. President Donald Trump briefly addressed the incident, expressing prayers for the victims, while the FBI joined the investigation. As students and staff grapple with trauma, the university community mourns, vowing to rebuild and ensure safety in the face of such tragedy. The Independent vividly recounts Archie Madekwe's journey from a real-life lurker in a coffee shop in LA to the star of Emerald Fennell's provocative film, Saltburn, where he plays Oliver, a confident British singer living in Hollywood Hills. Madekwe, who also moonlights as a model and has gained recognition through roles in films like Midsommar and Saltburn, draws a clear distinction between himself and his character, emphasizing his grounding in family and friendships that keep him rooted amidst the chaos of fame. He describes Fennell's film as intentionally shocking and provocative, designed to evoke strong reactions, contrasting with the prudish responses some critics have noted. The article also highlights Madekwe's background, from South London to the London Academy of Music and Dramatic Art, and his reflections on the shared themes of longing and desire that connect Saltburn and Lurker, both conceived during the pandemic's isolating period. Despite the controversy Saltburn sparked, Madekwe sees it as a bold artistic statement, and he candidly discusses the setbacks of his major role in the blockbuster Gran Turismo, which was delayed and underperformed due to the SAG-AFTRA strike, yet he remains grateful for the lessons learned. Looking ahead, Madekwe is set to star alongside Sophie Turner in Prime Video's Steel, and he openly discusses the challenges of fame and parasocial relationships, emphasizing the importance of maintaining human boundaries and privacy in an increasingly connected world. The Independent paints a bleak picture of the internet's current state, illustrating how the words of the year reflect a society increasingly consumed by dissatisfaction and disillusionment with digital life. The chosen words, rage bait, AI slop, parasocial, and 6 to 7, serve as linguistic markers of a web that's broken, toxic, and devoid of meaningful connection. Once, words like climate emergency and youthquake captured real-world struggles, but today's lexicon is dominated by expressions that reveal our collective misery, highlighting how social media and generative AI have turned the internet into a joyless, addictive, and often harmful space. The article emphasizes that our relationship with the web is no longer about nourishment or inspiration but about escapism and frustration, likening the current digital landscape to a joyless casino where we're trapped in a cycle of dependency. Words like rage bait and parasocial not only describe our online woes but also deepen our understanding of the unhappiness they foster, creating a vicious cycle that maps out the contours of digital despair without offering solutions. As Australia considers banning social media for under 16s, the piece underscores the urgent need to address this systemic unhappiness, which has become embedded in our language and, ultimately, our lives. According to the Australian Broadcasting Corporation, Australians are increasingly receptive to integrating artificial intelligence into emergency services, with a significant majority willing to share personal data such as exact location, medical history, and wearable health data to enhance response effectiveness. The survey, which involved over 2,500 individuals across Australia and New Zealand, revealed strong support for AI features like keyword detection, live translation, and video analysis to identify threats and expedite assistance. Despite this enthusiasm, confidence in the effective use of such technology remains modest, with many concerned about data privacy and the potential for misuse. Australians still favor traditional voice calls for emergencies, but younger generations are showing a preference for newer communication methods like apps and video calls. Experts highlight that AI could revolutionize emergency response by providing responders with richer, real-time information, such as scene images or precise location data, potentially saving lives, especially in critical first minutes. Following recent outages and challenges in the emergency call system, the government and telecom providers are pushing for modernization, focusing on improving reliability, speed, and resilience, particularly in rural areas where mobile coverage is poor. Prominent AI researcher Toby Walsh emphasizes that with unbiased training data, AI could help eliminate communication barriers and biases, ultimately making emergency services more inclusive and efficient. BBC reports the harrowing aftermath of a shooting at Brown University in Rhode Island, where chaos erupted in the Bruce and Hawley Engineering Building during final exams, leaving 2 students dead and 9 wounded in a terrifying gunfire incident. The gunman, described as a black-clad male in his 30s, remains at large, with CCTV footage showing him fleeing the scene, though his face and weapon remain unseen. The university community was plunged into lockdown and shelter-in-place orders as police scoured the campus, searching for the suspect, who initially was briefly detained but later released after questioning. Witnesses recounted the chaos, professors and students scrambling for safety amid the gunfire, with one professor recalling the shooter shouting before opening fire during a review session. The campus was evacuated, and local businesses locked their doors, with residents urged to stay indoors. The tragedy cast a pall over the Ivy League institution, which cancelled exams and expressed profound grief. The incident marked the 389th mass shooting in the U.S. this year, highlighting the persistent epidemic of gun violence. President Trump and Rhode Island Governor Dan McKee publicly condemned the attack, offering prayers for the victims and their families, as the nation grappled with yet another devastating chapter in its ongoing crisis of gun-related violence. The Toronto Star reports that Rocket Lab, a global leader in space launch services, celebrated a significant milestone by successfully deploying its first dedicated launch for Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, JAXA, marking Electron's vital role in providing reliable, dedicated access to space worldwide. The mission, dubbed Raise and Shine, took off from Rocket Lab's New Zealand Launch Complex on December 14, 2025, and delivered JAXA's Rapid Innovative Payload Demonstration Satellite, RAISE 4, showcasing 8 cutting-edge technologies developed across Japan. This achievement signifies the increasing collaboration between commercial space companies and government agencies, with Rocket Lab's Electron rocket emerging as the preferred choice for small satellite launches globally, as evidenced by upcoming missions for JAXA and the European Space Agency. Rocket Lab's CEO, Sir Peter Beck, expressed pride in supporting JAXA's mission, emphasizing the company's commitment to precision, reliability, and fostering Japan's burgeoning aerospace industry. This launch was Rocket Lab's 19th of the year, extending its record for annual launches, and highlights its expanding international presence and technological capabilities in the evolving space industry. South China Morning Post reports that a tragic traffic collision in Hong Kong left 12 people injured when a taxi and two minibuses collided on Pak Fu Lam Road near the University of Hong Kong. The incident unfolded at around 9 a.m., with footage capturing the chaotic scene, one minibus crashing into the back of the taxi, then being hit from behind by the second minibus. The aftermath revealed extensive damage, headlights shattered, the rear of the first minibus battered, and the second minibus nearly losing its bumper. Emergency services responded swiftly, with a long line of ambulances rushing to transport the injured, 9 women and 3 men, to Queen Mary Hospital. The police, still investigating, had not made any arrests at the time, leaving the cause of the collision still uncertain amidst the visible chaos and destruction. South China Morning Post highlights a heartfelt initiative in Hong Kong where 2 NGOs, Uplifters and Empower You, have united to empower the city's approximately 400,000 domestic helpers, predominantly women from the Philippines and Indonesia, by transforming them into community leaders through the Dare to Lead program. This initiative, funded by Operation Santa Claus, aims to equip these migrant women with vital skills such as leadership, communication, conflict resolution, public speaking, and mental health awareness via an innovative online course. The program is designed to help them better support their peers, who often endure long hours, financial stress caused by high recruitment fees, family separation, and emotional turmoil. Through their newfound leadership abilities, women like 41-year-old Filipino helper Ailanimi Ramos have already begun to make a difference, managing finances, advocating for workers' rights, writing poetry to shed light on their lives, and helping others resolve disputes. The project not only seeks to strengthen community bonds within Hong Kong but also aims to empower helpers to carry these skills back to their home countries, fostering a sense of agency and resilience. Additionally, volunteers from both NGOs have extended their support to victims of the recent Taipei Estate fire, demonstrating a commitment to holistic community aid. Operation Santa Claus's ongoing fundraising efforts continue to bolster these vital projects, ensuring that migrant workers are recognized not just as helpers but as influential community leaders and advocates. Yahoo US reports a tragic shooting at Brown University in Providence, where a gunman dressed in black opened fire during final exams, resulting in at least 2 fatalities and 8 injuries, prompting a massive manhunt and campus lockdown. Massachusetts leaders, including Governor Maura Healey, expressed their condolences and coordinated with Rhode Island authorities, emphasizing support and the need for action against gun violence. Senators Ed Markey and Elizabeth Warren condemned the attack, calling for urgent measures to end America's gun violence epidemic and ensuring safety for students. The university initially reported a suspect in custody, but later clarified that the suspect was still at large, keeping the campus in lockdown as law enforcement continued their investigation. The community remains on edge, awaiting further updates on this heartbreaking event. CNN reports that Fernando Mendoza, Indiana's quarterback, has made history by winning the 2025 Heisman Trophy after leading the Hoosiers to a perfect 13-0 season, their first Big Ten title since 1967, and securing the #1 seed in the college football playoff. Mendoza's emotional acceptance speech highlighted his journey from Miami, where he was a 2-star recruit, to Bloomington, emphasizing his family's unwavering support and his Cuban-American heritage. His stellar stats, 2,980 passing yards, 33 touchdowns, and 6 rushing scores, earned him the award, which he graciously dedicated to his teammates and family, especially his mother. Mendoza's move from California to Indiana transformed his football career, and his historic season has ignited Hayes Mendoza fever in Bloomington, with the team preparing for a national championship run. Meanwhile, other top contenders like Ohio State's Julian Sayin, Notre Dame's Jeremiah Love, and Vanderbilt's Diego Pavia showcased their talents, with Love finishing 4th despite his team's disappointment in missing the college football playoff, and Pavia leading Vanderbilt to their first 10-win season and a bowl game. This remarkable season not only celebrates Mendoza's individual achievement but also sets the stage for Indiana's pursuit of college football's ultimate prize. The South China Morning Post explores the emerging use of virtual reality, VR, as a tool for teaching traumatic historical events like the Nanking Massacre, where educators and technologists see potential for immersive experiences to foster empathy and preserve memory. Simon Lee, from the Hong Kong Holocaust and Tolerance Center, highlights the promise of ethical empathy VR to connect students emotionally with history, yet warns of the dangers of re-traumatization and ethical pitfalls, emphasizing that VR should complement traditional learning rather than replace it. Inspired by global initiatives, including Japanese VR recreations of Hiroshima and Holocaust survivor testimonies, educators envision simulations that evoke moral agency, allowing users to make ethical decisions amid simulated violence, rather than passively witnessing atrocities. However, students and experts caution that VR's intense sensory stimulation can overwhelm, risking psychological harm or trivializing suffering if not carefully managed. They advocate for a balanced approach, integrating VR with texts, testimonies, and guided reflection, to ensure that immersive technology educates responsibly, fostering moral responsibility without causing undue trauma. Ultimately, the conversation centers on how to harness VR's power to deepen understanding while safeguarding emotional well-being, emphasizing that true peace education involves not just witnessing horror but actively engaging with moral choices in the face of atrocity. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision-making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.
Great dragon breaks ancient streets, leading change with modern beats. Cities rise and towers peak, new dawn breaking, bold and sleek. From the Great Wall to Shanghai, progress moves as kites fly high. Tech and trade, it's all in play, future shines brighter every day. Great dragon roar, change the cars marching strong with mighty force. Whoa. New era, new wave, fast-paced day, history made in full display. Politicians make their plea, voices blend in harmony. Policies for growth and peace, ambitions never cease. Dreams of silk and digital, bridging gaps from old to new. Fortunes build and bonds renew, nations strengthen, bold review. Traditions hold, but minds explore, east meets west and knowledge door. Complex world they navigate, China's power demonstrates. From the Great Wall to Shanghai, progress moves as kites fly high. Tech and trade, it's all the play, future shines brighter every day. Great dragon roars, change the course, marching strong with mighty force. New era, new way, fast-paced day, history made in bold display. Politicians make their plea, voices blend in harmony. Policies for growth and peace, ambitions their growth and peace. New era, new way, fast-paced day, history made in bold display. History made in bold display. Politicians make their plea, voices blend in harmony. Policies for growth and peace, ambitions never cease. Dreams of silk and digital, bridging gaps from old to new. Fortunes build and bonds renew, nations strengthen, bold review. Traditions hold but minds explore, east meets west at knowledge door. Complex world they navigate, China's power never cease. Dreams of silk and digital, bridging gaps from old to new. Fortunes build and bonds renew, nations strengthen, bold review. Traditions hold but minds explore, east meets west at knowledge door. Complex world they navigate,